Hi, this is Eric from SKXMOD. Today we're about to brought you the second gen of our Apple Watch modern kit, featuring this Series 6 in 44mm. Without further ado, let's jump right into it. Within this rubber plus bracelet combo package, you'll get your rubber band and metal bracelet, of course, and the necessary tools you'll be using in the installation. But first, please turn off your watch, otherwise it will mess up the sensitivity on the touchscreen in later on process. Now you can set up the environment for installation. As always, we've prepared a piece of soft mat for you to operate upon. Avoid any kind of damage towards the table or the watch. Now we should sort out the parts, see if you got any missing pieces. First off, the bracelet, of course, then the rubber band and the metal case. Let's take a look then at those shimmering chamfered edges. The entire style is more inclined to the mix of royal oak and nautilus, made in 316L stainless steel. Don't forget the case back as well. Also, these two rubber shrouds to strap on the watch itself. Avoid any scratches or damages from direct contact with the case. 3 screwdrivers come in different sizes of tips, also a pair of tweezers. Wow, how convenient, might as well pick out the screws now. This pack of screws is for bracelet, and this is for the case back. And now these are the pads for the crown. And let's tackle them one by one, shall we? As we mentioned before, 2 of them are flat-headed and the other one is fillet. And tweezers, well, it's just tweezer, can be applied to anything, anywhere you want it actually, mostly pick up things. And first step, strap on the rubber shroud first, lined up with a crown cutout. It's quite intuitive. To check if the shroud was installed correctly, all you have to do is to check along those curved edges. As long as the watch is nicely covered with all those necessary parts. How about our metal case then? Now this is our next step. It's also quite intuitive. Just line up yours with our modern kit. Let's zoom in a bit, get a closer look for you guys. You have to put in one side first, the one with all the buttons, and gently put in the other side after that. When it's fully tucked in, give it a firm press to make sure the cutouts are matching with the metal case. And now the case back. Remember, this does not just place it and screw it. Flip it over, you'll find a notch made to fit the crown, otherwise you're not able to turn the crown. Clamp it down and give it a go on the crown to see if the crown works with a gentle press. If it all works out, it's time to put in some elbow grease then. Same old, 4 screws and 1 4 spare. Get a screwdriver out and get assembling. See, the bigger one, to be exact. Remember, place your assembly on the table. Downward force is more controllable in terms of screwing. We would recommend start screwing from the non-buttoned side first. By that, you also have to push the watch to the opposite side. Therefore, the crown is also pushed out and working freely. In my scenario, that would be the left side, so the crown will be pushed out a little bit, as you can see here. Before the actual screwing in those screws, don't forget to keep applying firm pressure throughout the entire process. Otherwise, there will be no contact whatsoever between the inner crown and the exterior crown, making our modern kit obsolete or essentially useless. Remember, sideways and downwards, crown out and screws in. Then I think we can finally start the screwing in process. Of course, diagonally would be more efficient. Please don't over tighten the screws since they are relatively small in sizes, otherwise you might cross the threads. As long as there's no visible crevices between caseback and the case. Let's see if our crown extension works. Normally we will have a springy feedback. How about the power button then? Let's turn it back on while we are at it. Meanwhile, I guess we can take a further inspection of the superb finishing. Everywhere is smooth to the touch. And now, this is the almighty power of CNC, milled straight as an arrow. Finally, that took like a decade. Let's see if all those function works. Seems like power buttons working. As always, how about the crown swivel? Okay. Oh, and this. We're also planning a tutorial video for you guys to demonstrate how to change the watch face as well. With this app, you can change your dial into various factions you desire. Let's shuffle through a few of them to see how it looks like. Seems like we got plenty here. Just pick one you like. Aha! Finally, got you. It's right up in my alley. Perfectly matching for our theme here today. The mix of royal oak. Well, not mix, it's completely matched to the theme. This blue thing is our protective layer. You can easily scratch off. Don't worry about it, your nail is not doing enough harm to the case. Yeah, there you go, removed. And shall we proceed to the bracelet part? As we can see here. With the protective plastic getting peeled off, we can now better observe the bracelet itself. The bracelet is also CNC milled out and hand finished in a AP style. You can see each individual link got a surface brushed, yet the edges polished, creates an unparalleled contrast when it catches the light. For bracelet installation, simply place it into the notch like I did right about now. And there's no orientation whatsoever. 12 o'clock first or 6 o'clock like I did here first. It doesn't really matter. Next step, you need to insert the screw into the indentation I just pointed out. When it's fully inserted, get your flat-headed screwdriver with smaller tip, 1.5 mm to be exact. For this particular kind of small and thin screw, we would recommend you first make a few turns counterclockwise, just to locate those threads. Once it starts to bite in those threads, then you can make it clockwise to further screw in to secure. And stop when you feel certain resistance from the screws, or the screw is flush to the surface. And that is enough, or you will over-tighten the screws, therefore crossing threads. Same method can be performed on the other side. By sizing the bracelet, all you have to do is to remove those screws. It is nothing particularly difficult, just repeat the steps we taught you before. It still screws at the end of the day. And Bob's your uncle. Your bracelet is now sized, and all you have to do is to connect them back together. That's pretty much all that is for the bracelet part. Next will be our rubber band installation tutorial. But you know what, let's take a look what we ended up with this completely metal built off from our modern kit. Look at those shining, shimmering, reflected from the surface. Generally, we will install the longer side on 6 o'clock position, but each to his own. Maybe we got a bigger wrist for it to install backwards. In this installation, you'll be needing this particular pack of screws. Having screws and nuts look like this. Also 1.5 mm flat-headed screwdriver. And see, that's how it works. Jam in, adjust a little bit, pick up the nut, so to speak, and place it into either side. Since the rubber band is made to fit the case, sure it's gonna be a tight fit. You can utilize our screwdriver to push it in. It's got a swivel at the back of it. Rest is pretty self-explanatory, to be honest. Place the screw on the other side, push it in, you'll see the nut sticking out from the other side. Screw in from either side as you like. If you again feel certain level of resistance, should indicate both ends have successfully locked into each other. Now this is how it looks like. This is how it should look like when it's finished. Same drill goes to the other side. See if anything's sticking out from both ends. No? That's perfect. Seems pretty good to me. Not too shabby. That's what you call devils in the details. Let's take a look at the finishing for one last time. See how the chamfer edges continue from case to strap seamlessly. Alright, I think that's about it for today's episode. We'll see you the next time. Bye.